Thank you for joining us here today. Our Milwaukee police family is suffering. We lost one of our own, Officer Charles Irvine Jr. This is a difficult time for the department and the city as a whole. By the grace of God, we had gone 22 years without an on-duty death. Officer Irvine now joins a list of heroes here in Milwaukee, and I ask the residents of this city and this region to never forget his service and sacrifice. His fellow co-workers at District 4 remember him as a dedicated servant with a stellar work ethic who never complained. He was a funny and quiet officer who did great impersonations and would give his shirt off his back. We're grateful that the second officer injured in this crash, Officer Matthew Schultz, has been treated and released from Froedtert Hospital. Please respect his privacy as he mourns the loss of his partner. I would like to share with you the events of what led to the tragic crash on Thursday afternoon on the northwest side of Milwaukee. Around 5:00 p.m. on June 7th, officers were on duty with Officer Schultz driving and Officer Irvine as the passenger. They saw a reckless vehicle being driven eastbound on West Silver Spring at North 91st Street. This vehicle was a Volkswagen Passat. The officers attempted to stop the vehicle by activating the squad lights and siren. The Passat did not pull over and began to elude officers, at which time a pursuit began. The Passat approached North 76th Street, and the squad car lost control and rolled over. MPD members located the Passat on North 91st, the Passat that we're seeking, on the 9400 block of West Bradley Road. The driver, a 28-year-old man, was taken into custody. He has a lengthy criminal record dating back to 2006 with several drug-related arrests. Two associates of this suspect, a 45-year-old man and a 26-year-old woman, are also in custody. Interviews and investigation are ongoing. Those cases will be presented to the Milwaukee County District Attorney's Office in the upcoming days. The Milwaukee Police Department's Accident Reconstruction Unit continues to investigate the squad crash. To my brothers and sisters in blue here at the Milwaukee Police Department, I mourn with you in this difficult and trying times. The department is here for you. Please reach out if you need to talk to someone and utilize our police officer support team, the Post. As you know, Post works to provide department members suffering from emotional and personal difficulties and provides access to support services. We are also extremely appreciative of the support of the Salvation Army Chaplaincy Program as they work with officers at District 4. I'd also like to extend thanks to our law enforcement peers and everyday citizens across the region, state, country, and world for their kind messages. We will get through this together as a family in blue. Pictures of Officer Irvine and Schultz will be emailed to the newsrooms. Again, we implore that you please give their families the privacy they deserve as they continue to grieve. I expect to have more information to share with you early next week and continue our investigation, and details are finalized for Officer Irvine's funeral. Mr. Mayor, would you like to?
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief. On behalf of the residents of the city of Milwaukee, I want to extend my condolences to the Irvine family for their loss. This officer was truly a public servant. He entered the police department as a police aide serving in District 4 and served in that capacity for 2 years. 2 years ago, he became a police officer for this department. So he has a total of 4 years service. Officer Irvine dedicated his life, sacrificed his life for the residents of this city. For our safety, he gave up his life for our safety. Every resident of this city should be mindful of that and thankful to him for his service. This is a time when we need to come together as a community. The Irvine family is suffering. District 4 is suffering. The police department is suffering. And the city is suffering as well. But as the chief said, if we come together, we will be able not to erase the tragedy that occurred yesterday, but work toward a better community and a safer community. Thank you. John?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Chief. I want to express my deep sorrow to the Irvine family and to the Milwaukee Police Department members who have lost one of their family members. This matter is currently being reviewed by the homicide unit of our office. We're going to do a very thorough review of all the evidence that surrounds the circumstances here, including anything that led up to this and anything that occurred after this. And we're going to make sure that we make the appropriate decision and people are held accountable for this loss. Again, we're deeply sorry for the loss to the Irvine family, and we're thinking about the community at this time and the circumstances, and unfortunately far too many members of our community have suffered under similar circumstances. We're thinking about them, and we're going to make sure the right thing happens here. Thank you.
We'll take 2 questions, and we will conclude this conference.
Chief, can you tell us if a sergeant had called off the chase?
I will say this right now. Investigation is now going. Let's pay respects to a 23-year-old officer who lost his life during his tour of duty, committed to his community.
Can you tell us if a sergeant or someone had called off this chase prior to the accident?
Can you tell me what the officer's name is who was shot at by a drug dealer 3 weeks ago? We pay no mind at the danger of our police officers. We have an officer that died yesterday. We're grieving. And you are trying to create controversy. We have an officer that died, committed to the community. All he wanted to do is be a police officer, and we loved him. Can you give us some days to grieve? Please.